what was the big mistake? If you want to classify it, what was the big mistake?
The biggest mistake was earlier.
You got into real estate. In fact, one of the ways we connected was I did a video about this giant mess. I call it that. I loved how you shared. You were very honest and truthful. And then I did a review on you, basically. But so just tell us quickly about that debacle, or however you want to describe it.
Yeah, I don't have any emotions around like losing money. To me, it's all just numbers. It's an experience, whether you make money or lose money. And so I started real estate 2016. When I moved from Oakland to Las Vegas, I started looking at the prices and I went, oh my gosh, I can actually buy something here. So I always loved the idea of owning a home, even at 25, 26 years old. And so after staying here a year and saving up a lot of my money, because I was living very frugally, living in a very rough area too, I was able to buy a condo in Las Vegas Country Club, which is right behind Westgate. I would consider a B+A neighborhood. Not the best area outside the gates, but nice inside. I bought it for $120,000, 2 bed, 2 bath, 1,100 square feet. It was great. I bought it 20% down, and then I was able to rent out the other room for $700 a month. It cost me $880 a month. So for $180, I was living. I was like, man, this is legit. This house acting thing that started becoming more popular. Then started looking at off-market deals because I didn't have that much money. So I started looking at off-market deals, and I ultimately found a fourplex where I bought in late 2019. I bought the fourplex on owner will carry terms. And around that same time, I also bought 2 flips in Cincinnati. The hard money lender only needed $10,000 down payment in Cincinnati for each property. That's how I was able to get 2 going at the same time.
And so to keep this in perspective with your career, were you working a job now, or were you?
I was.
With the YouTube? So you're doing both now at this point.
Yeah. I was doing a job. YouTube was very spare. I wasn't releasing that many videos because it didn't seem lucrative. I couldn't quite figure out the formula. I couldn't quite figure out how to grow. And I was a real estate investor. Like that was my goal. I wanted to pursue real estate and get enough cash flow or be able to start flipping extensively so that I could leave my job.
The bread and butter job at this point, 2019, while you're buying and doing these house hacks or however you describe them, you're doing what?
I was working for a tech company in software development.
Okay.
And then you mentioned the video about the mess. So I bought the house flip. I think it was end of 2018 was the first one. And by summer 2019, I found out that it was really poorly done by the contractor. And so it essentially was an 18-month flip that I was flipping in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. So a very, very long trip away. And yeah, I obviously made some crucial mistakes there. I actually bought a good deal. Bought it for $45,000 or something. It's like hard to imagine. It's on Craigslist.
Ultimately, after the remodel, I mean, what was the big mistake? If you want to classify it, what was the big mistake?
The biggest mistake was not catching the renovation issues earlier. And so when it was quote unquote done, we had drywall mistakes, just like gaps in the wall where the drywall didn't even connect. The baseboards all needed to refinish. And there were some other mistakes that were pretty apparent. It wasn't really that huge of a remodel needed. It's just the fact that it was done and it then needed maybe another 10 or 15 grand of work.
Did you do your due diligence on the contractor? Is that where you failed on that?
Yeah, I was new. I didn't know. So here's what's weird. I found him on Bigger Pockets. He had 10 properties of his own and he did all the work on his own. He sent me pictures of those. So other than that, I don't know how else to assess it. How else to do due diligence. Maybe I could have asked for referrals or something.
Yeah, you do. You got to find referrals. I mean, because I have people that are, in the class, same thing. And I say, because I'm a subcontractor and I can tell you what happens when you're a subcontractor. And I did it for 10 years. I had a cabinet shop until I didn't need it anymore. And real estate's what released me from it. But you'll see the same faces on job. That's how you know who the good guys are. The guys that keep working for years, you see them for years. It's like, okay, we're in the club of we're good.
Right. Yeah. So that was a big mistake. And it would have been nice. Really the biggest mistake to avoid all this is I had a real estate agent out there. I should have just had him go regularly. The weird thing is the contractor was sending me pictures the entire time. It wasn't like he was ducking calls. And here's what really threw me off. So the hard money lender sent out an inspector. And keep in mind, this was my first one. So this was all a new process to me. For draw requests, they would send out an inspector and inspect the property and then sign off. And so I had 8 different inspections at 150 a pop. Every single one was signed off. And so here I am 2,000 miles away. I figured the lender, who has more rust than I, them signing off at every inspection was my interpretation of it being quality work. That's where kind of like, I'll defend myself in that so I don't look like an idiot. Like that was my kind of like approval to keep going and not have to send over an agent to like, hey, check the work or whatever.
To me, your biggest mistake is that you bought so far away. You couldn't keep an eye on your own assets, which nobody cares more than you.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The problem, well, yeah, if you want to even take a step further, the biggest problem is I was so eager to leave my job because I wanted to be a real estate investor. I was listening to Bigger Pockets. I wanted to leave my job so I could do real estate full time. And so I was just so eager to start doing deals. And I found something on Craigslist. At the time, Las Vegas just seemed so competitive. Ironically, it's even way more competitive now. But it just seems so competitive to flip here in Vegas. And you needed, if you're a new flipper, you might need 10% LTV or maybe even 20% LTV. Well, I was only making $45,000 a year. It's not like I had a bunch of cash. I had maybe $20,000 of cash. And so I didn't see it as possible to get into real estate here in Vegas, as it definitely not house flipping. I didn't have the cash, or, maybe wholesaling. I tried it a little bit. I was able to find the fourplex, but wholesaling didn't really sit right with me. That's not really my skill set.
You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face to face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.